The Smurfs franchise has had a tough time getting off the ground. Under Sony Pictures Animation, 2011's The Smurfs, which saw the animated blue characters exist in a live-action world, was met with dedicated critical derision, while 2013's The Smurfs 2 sequel somehow fared worse. A planned third film in this series was jettisoned, abandoning the live-action animated hybrid approach in favor of 2017's fully animated Smurfs: The Lost Village, an improvement over its predecessors but still receiving significant criticism. Smurfs is the first attempt since The Lost Village to readapt the project, now distributed in partnership between Paramount Animation and Nickelodeon Movies. Billed as a musical and essentially a reboot of the franchise, Smurfs has its good moments but does altogether too much to do anything particular.
What is Smurfs about?
Smurfs sees the Smurfs village beset by a number of dangerous problems. Smurfette is attempting to help no-name Smurf discover his purpose and talent so that he can have a real name, when a magic book, Jaunty Grimoire, bestows magical abilities to no-name. An evil consortium of wizards had been looking for the tome for some time in order to complete a spell that would destroy good in the universe, and the magical act puts the Smurfs in their crosshairs, including evil wizard Razamel and his twin Gargamel. The wizards abduct Papa Smurf, forcing the Smurfs to venture forth and save the day while defeating the consortium of wizards.
Smurfs has standout moments, but does too much to do anything.
Smurfs has a wild array of moving parts. Smurfette has to make peace with her origin as a creation of Gargamel, while No Name also has a protagonist's journey, struggling with his nature. There's a series of magic books that threaten the universe, because of which Papa Smurf alone gets abducted. The Smurfs capture Gargamel, then immediately leave to go find Ken, who we discover is Papa Smurf's brother. We learn about new realms, a deep backstory for Papa Smurf, and a universe-impacting role for the small blue beings. It turns out they have great importance in the universe, despite being small and spending a century neglecting said purpose. Pam Brady is a great writer, and director Chris Miller's Puss in Boots was excellent, but they have a hard time making an overstuffed Smurfs work. The narrative is convoluted, balancing too many character arcs, and it often feels like a succession of events merely occurring without a logical flow progressing from one to another. The film's performances are also a mixed bag. Rihanna is a world-class talent overall and a fine actress. While she doesn't give a bad vocal performance here, at times she clearly sounds like Rihanna at a table read. There's a little evident effort to create a distinct role. James Corden is sufficient, but not quite memorable as No Name. Protagonist troubles aside, Smurfs does have standouts. John Goodman's Papa Smurf has gravitas, while Nick Offerman brings a lot of personality to Papa's brother, Ken. Perhaps the biggest winners here are J.P. Karlyak, whose career of distinguished voice work gives life and personality to the brothers Amel, and Natasha Lyonne's engaging turn as the cute but ragey Mama Poot. Rounding out the stacked cast, Amy Sedaris is memorable and energetic as the magical book Jaunty Grimoire, while Dan Levy is hilarious as snarky, competent assistant Joel. The movie is at its best in the finale, when the cast is in combat against the magical wizard posse. Blending animation styles and meeting weird figures as they tumble through reality, the inventive sequence allows for well-developed action and entertaining humor. That said, the film's new mythology for the Smurfs. Turns out they're supposed to be some sort of last-ditch defenders of all good in the universe, is an oddly marvelized backstory that doesn't quite fit. It's fine to give them a function beyond simply being small, potential snacks for a weird wizard, but skipping straight to Universal Protector requires too much suspension of disbelief. The film also isn't as committed to being a musical as it needs to be. The new songs are fine additions, but there aren't as many musical numbers as one would expect. Smurfs ultimately tries to do too much, failing to fully achieve any of the filmmaker's objective.
Smurfs is an overstuffed, sometimes chaotic film.
Smurfs is messy, overstuffed, and chaotic. The film feels like too many ideas for a Smurfs movie in one. Essentially, two protagonists, two villains, a massive crisis, while juggling a lot of characters and touring through as many worlds. The narrative needs honing. That said, it's largely better than what came before. The animation allows the Smurfs to look like pleasant cartoons, making for a pleasant experience on the animation front. And Smurfs has an experimental segment that's one of the film's finest. Some of the voice acting is routinely great, and none of it is abysmal, though a few of the major characters could be honed to feel distinct. It may be better than the films that came before, but it could really benefit from a streamlined narrative and a tight and cohesive story. Smurfs releases in theaters on July 16th.